Hi, I'm Shannon.
And I'm Mary.
And we're hotter by the minute.
Oh, hell yeah, we are. So this morning we are in the studio of FMP Matrix, and we have a special guest.
We do.
Fran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to
Thank
have you. Fran is a friend of mine and a new friend of Shannon's. And Fran and I do a lot of different things together. And the most important part why we wanted to have her on our show is because we believe that all women should have a great knowledge of what we're going through in menopause, mental health, women's health in general. So Fran, my love, can you tell me about you?
Well, I'm an exercise physiologist by training and a former yoga studio owner. And so I had the privilege of cultivating a community and leading women in health and breath work. And I have a master's in adult education. I studied Ayurvedic medicine. So I've got a rather broad career and broad experience in terms of women's health and a little bit more natural and holistic perhaps than traditional approaches, but I love that we're having these conversations today. This is amazing.
Yeah, so are we. We're so happy. And one of the things that really meant a lot to me when I met you is that you have this like gentle kindness about you, and I love that. It to me, you embody. Like,
thank you.
You're welcome. And you
Should I do that too?
Yeah, sure.
Namaste. Do you know what I saw on a bumper sticker? I was like immediately enthralled and disgusted at the same time, equal measure. It was like, namaste, bitch. I was like, no, that's supposed to be a kind greeting. It's not bitch. See? And then
she was in menopause.
She was in menopause.
When she bags her license plate.
She was like on fire.
And now it's like, oh yeah, stay back. And then there's this whole other funny side of you that I just love. You're so grounded and so like solid, and I love that. And then you open your mouth and you make me laugh. Like, it's amazing. So Shannon, you had some really important questions you wanted to talk with Fran about, and I'm going to let you do that part. I'm just kidding.
Thanks. Yay, question.
Can you explain vaginal dryness?
You have some yogurt?
Hey!
I did not know that. What are we talking about? Lactose-free.
Just in case you have.
More on a serious note, obviously, that is one of the many issues that we're suffering.
Lots.
But I think for me, when I met you, and I only met you a few weeks ago, I mean, has it even been that? There was an instant connection because I, unfortunately, didn't know a lot about my own health, all the changes that was happening to my body. I just have no patience for it, I'll be honest. I know what's happening, and I'm trying to fix it in my own way. Or you're going to, somebody that you hope will be able to help you, and they don't. For me, it was like when I had the first conversation with you, you were just so genuine, and like something about you was, this is so natural, and this is the issues and challenges we're all facing, and it wasn't like I was alone in my own battles, and I know I'm not anyway, but for me, it was like you were talking my language. You could talk to my level of, understanding what all this was, all the terminology, all the things that was happening to my body. So it was. I was like, we got to have her on the show. Like,
it's true.
There's a lot of people like me
Yeah.
who don't do the homework or the research or don't know all the information, and we're just dealing with it. But we're not probably looking at all the things that we can access.
That's right.
Or how we can get our bodies to a better place.
So Fran, tell us some things, like some, basic, obviously we're not going to have time to go through everything, but, tell us some things that how we can talk to our doctors.
Number one, you need to advocate for yourself, and the unfortunate piece is the current medical model doesn't empower us to have the ability to ask the questions. The other piece to that is that maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we don't know and are putting those little symptoms or signs or, kind of trusting that gut instinct, that intuition, that self-knowledge and wisdom to be able to bring these forward and identify those things as, okay, these are actually key benchmarks that we need to look for to protect our health, whether it be mental or physical health, because it's all integrated.
100%.
Right?
And a lot of women have, like, they feel almost like embarrassed to be able to say to a doctor or someone or a physician that they're with and say, I don't really think that's going to work for me. And that's really hard to say that, because in our minds, not everyone, but in our minds, they know what they're supposed to be telling us. But we're sitting there going, I have vaginal dryness, I'm not having sex doesn't feel the same way, my skin is dry, my hair is going curly. I mean, a zillion things. I feel like someone's chewing beside me, I want to throw them out a window. I'm just saying.
The rage.
The rage.
rage is
Like,
bad.
it's crazy. So the last few days, we've all been really immersed in International Women's Day. Love where we've been, all the connections that we made. But the most important thing is that strength that you feel when we were in those rooms. I'm getting chills again.
It was very inspiring, and it was beautiful to see, women from various cultures, from different age groups, from different demographics, an area of the province, belief systems, countries of origin, and entrepreneurs and government, and all this like tremendous depth of knowledge and passion and wisdom, and yet we're still marginalized. We, meaning women generally, are still marginalized in a lot of these rooms, right?
We are.
A lot of these rooms are still off to the side.
Exactly.
And please be quiet.
Yes.
So that whole piece around what you were talking about around advocacy and having the courage to find your voice and the wisdom, and maybe that's a little bit of self-trust, to share what you need to share and say, that's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. And I think those important conversations that we used to have as women around the hearth and those sort of beautiful times are not being replicated, right? We're talking about, I got to get the kids to the this and that, and I got to do this and business. And there's such noise.
I was, I'll never forget when I first started having all my interesting changes in my body, but more so the rage was really bad and just not having the patience like I used to have. And not alone just the change in your body, just physical changes. Yeah, your
like
mood
your
and
whole
your mental
entire,
health was just completely disrupted. I remember going in to see my doctor, and she's a female, but she's old school. I didn't think it would be an issue because here's all the statistics that my husband just showed me. Here you go, honey. This is what you need to go in, and you need to say this to her. Like, this is all the statistics. And I went in fighting for myself, and I really got rejected. And it was sad because I thought, I don't have breast cancer in my family. I have no cancer really in any of my immediate family. I'm willing to take the small, slim chance if there is anything there at this point, because I have to have some sort of peace within myself and the rest of my life, however long that's going to be. If I have to be like this forever, that's not going to be good. So she gives me
anybody.
She gives me
anyone
an antidepressant.
Oh, yeah.
So here you're going to try this antidepressant, and this is going to help you. It also helps with hot flashes. Oh, okay. So I went on an antidepressant for a full year before she would prescribe me my first HRT treatment. And then when I got on that, I noticed a huge difference. Like antidepressant didn't do anything. Maybe it subdued the rage.
Yes.
But then I went and started my hormone therapy, and it really changed my life. Like, it changed my life. And then when I went back for my follow-up, she was like, well, you can come off. Why would I bother coming off the antidepressant, man? They're both working great. I think I'll just stay on all of it. I'm a much better person.
And I'm not in jail.
Mentally
and everybody else around me is not either, right? So, Fran, can we talk a little bit about the HRT?
Yeah.
Because it's very important. I'm personally not on it, so my journey was a little bit different. HRT is something that people have traditionally been scared of.
Yes.
And if you have maybe an older physician, so I guess get rid of some myths for us.
Get rid of some myths around
Yes.
HRT. So I really appreciate your story. I really appreciate that was the first kind of line of defense where the doctor felt, okay, this is where we can have impact. I think what's not being addressed in terms of, and this ties into this HRT question for a lot of women, is the preventative aspect, right? And the hormonal benefit and aspect of it. So we're looking upstream, right? Instead of, getting to the root cause, we're treating symptoms. And that's not really an approach that's going to be beneficial for anybody.
That's right.
And unfortunately, that's a typical approach of a Western medical model. And I'm not anti-medication, I'm not anti-physicians. I'm actually very supportive of healthcare professionals. A lot of them were my colleagues for many, many years. We need to get to the root cause of what's going on. And the unfortunate piece is that many times that means hormone replacement therapy. Maybe that's not an issue or an appropriate sort of treatment plan for an individual. But the medical system needs to be more educated around what are the symptoms, what are the options, and that continuing medical education, that professional development could shift the whole experience of women's health in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right? You could have accessed the appropriate care sooner. You could have been given options that were more effective. Who knows? But I think that if we have the knowledge as individuals, as women, and if healthcare providers come to us and say, here are some options that I'm aware of, and then you advocate for yourself. Maybe you're going to a naturopath, right?
Yes.
Maybe that's a good route for you based on what your beliefs are and what you're dealing with. But the whole issue of HRT, unfortunately for healthcare providers, there was data that showed that it was a higher risk of breast cancer. And actually, I mean, I used to translate knowledge and research as a career, essentially, for the Heart and Stroke Foundation. That research was inaccurate. That was completely debunked. And that was debunked 20 years ago.
Yes.
So
And no one knew.
if we're still pulling on that data, it's like cholesterol and dietary, eggs and dietary cholesterol. Like,
Which that
you can eat
just
yolks,
came out, right?
You can eat yolks. That was 30 years
My
ago.
mother was still only doing one yolk with 3 eggs, whites, right? Or she'd eat around the yolk. I remember seeing her do that. She'd eat around all the
Oh,
yolk,
my
but she'd take a
Lord.
little bit because she liked the yolk. But we were told not to eat the yolk, right?
That's
Like, I
awesome.
mean,
That's
honestly,
awesome.
though, right?
But I mean,
Yeah.
that yolk, just for mental health and women's health, that has choline in it. Choline is really good for mental health.
Yes,
Right? It's like, eat your yolks, eat your yolks. So related, bringing it back to hormone replacement therapy, there are approaches. And I think what I would like to see in terms of our entire medical system and model is that women are informed of a variety of approaches. It's not, this is the path and here you go do it. It's, here's A, B, C, and D, and if you would like E, F, G, H, and I, we're going to talk to a naturopath, or we're going to consult with an osteopath.
Yes.
Could be another option.
And that's exactly what I would love to see. If the woman doesn't know, and then the doctor should look at their history and all the things. Maybe they really do need an antidepressant that does work on the serotonin melatonin level versus an HRT. Maybe you're in different stages of it, like if you've had a partial hysterectomy at a young age or anything. So all of those things really need to be considered. I was talking to an old friend of mine this weekend, and she had said, she goes, you guys really must be going through a lot of menopause. I never went through that. I'm like, oh girl, yes you did. You just didn't know it.
What I'm hearing is a lot around, an approach and all of these things. So I want to bring us back, because I love preventative and upstream stuff, right?
Yeah.
And really highlight for women, the whole idea of self-care, right? The whole concept of self-care and mental health. And that includes nutritious food, it includes healthy relationships, it includes moving our bodies, right? And these pillar pieces, so that when we start to go through these fluctuations, these changes in life, which are natural and which everyone is going to experience to their own degree and in their own way,
That's right.
then we have the groundwork. We have like this beautiful soil that then all of this new growth can happen,
It
right?
can.
Then it's a positive evolution. We can welcome some of these changes and recognize them, rather than it being a confrontation, rather than it being, I have to get my, back up and fight this battle.
Yes.
You can say, okay, we need to have the conversation that is natural.
It's just natural.
That we are all going through it in the workplace, in our families. Or, like, if the more educated we are about those pieces.
Can you imagine the generations before us?
Yes.
What they had to endure, and that they probably
Exactly.
thought they were going nuts and crazy.
I agree.
I mean, I remember my mother, she had an early hysterectomy.
Yes.
was, I believe she was on some form of hormone therapy at the
Yes.
time, and then everybody was told to go off it because, right, the big axe came down. And she would literally fire irons across the room. Like there was holes in our house. I got cracked over the head more times than you can imagine with a broomstick.
Yes.
Because I was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Right.
Doing absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And that's how we grew up because it was just like, oh, mom's, it's that time. Let's go.
She's crazy
and
again
just
today.
like, you'd be trying to find a place to hide.
Exactly.
Right.
But it was just, this rage is intense. And
Yes.
if you're not in control, which is very difficult to do, whether you do it naturally, you figure out yoga. I can't do downward dog. I can't. I don't know what's wrong with my wrists. They're screwed up. I don't know. But also, like, I'm unflexible. I can't touch my toes. Yoga's not my thing, girl.
That's like saying you're
Not
too
my
dirty
thing.
for a bath.
I'm not going to take that. Hold it. We're going to rinse you off.
But to your point, I mean, there was that beautiful generational knowledge that was lost, right? That this was a time of wisdom and to be honored and revered. Like, how wonderful that we would tap into all of this wisdom in our own bodies, and it's been taken away from us. From it's been medicalized and institutionalized. And we no longer have that circle of women around us to say, oh, yes, actually, that's normal. And through social media or other influences, we're being told that it's not. Oh, you got to tamp that down. You've got to control that. You've got to, control that rage. Control. You don't have to control it. You have to make peace with it at some level. Yeah.
Fran, how are you coping, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, do you, how is your journey? I know. I guess in a minute long.
In 30 seconds.
How about that? I'll give you a minute.
So I had autoimmune disorder, so I do have hypothyroidism. And so when I was 32, when I was 32, I mean, 80% of women suffer from autoimmune.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a huge statistic. That's another layer in that whole conversation, right?
Yeah.
How do we navigate that? And it's from years probably of being the A-type personality and drive, go, everybody else's needs, else's needs, and then it's like a transformer de-transforming. But that was when I was 32. And so my journey has been a little bit different, and everyone's will be different. And I'm not on HRT at the moment. I would love to explore that, but my practitioner, similar to yours, shut me down. Said, no, we're not going to start there. We're going to make sure that your thyroid levels are fine, and let's send you for more blood work, and let's, do more tests. And so you navigate to the naturopath, and you walk it over. And thankfully, I have enough knowledge and colleagues to lean on to really get some good information. But when you start to see yourself, equal moments like 30 seconds, you'll be happy. 2 minutes later, you're enraged, seeing red. Like that whole red mist thing is real.
It's real.
I'm like, you have to go teach a yoga class in a minute, Fran. You got to calm down. Like that whole rage piece. And it ultimately kind of helped me decide to sell my yoga studio, in fact, because I didn't feel peaceful and present. Right?
Come to my yoga
I can't
studio.
help you fuckers. I can't.
I'll beat the shit
out
out of you.
Getting the stick out.
Put your ass down. I said down, people. That is not a downward dog.
That would have been my kind of yoga studio, actually. I would have really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
Not the sweet old girl at the front who can flex her back this way and
exactly.
everyone's
Oh,
way.
no.
And I'm like, no.
I'd be like,
I would have been much
I
more
am not
enthralled.
stretching this part of me today. I'm just letting you know.
That doesn't go that way.
right.
Yeah, it does not work.
Love
But
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the journey, right? And it's a privilege to live as long as we have. Obviously, I'm very grateful for that. But that duality, right?
Yeah.
That wanting the peace and promoting the peace and breath and and then also feeling such rage that you're like, I'm going to kill someone if they come in the store. I'm just ready to just give me a shot. And go into boxing or something, like to get that out, right? To get that out.
Ran in a
Driving's the
cage.
worst.
Come here, people.
Driving, I should have a license. It's bed before HRT. Now I'm just like, hey.
Little growl. Like I find myself growling.
Yeah, let me. I should have a question for Fran.
No.
We're supposed to hire her. I was like, it's a reason for high boots for some reason, you know.
Well,
All right.
we just thought because it was cute.
Oh,
We didn't
yeah.
know they were
The
functional
original,
too.
the original kinky boots.
That's right, exactly.
love it.
You know, when you're 50, what happens, right? Things change. The tiger comes out. You know,
can't wait.
earlier. You're right.
Oh, honey, I
agree.
have claws for a reason.
I agree. I know we were speaking earlier, and this kind of resonated with me for sure.
Yeah.
You had said, not only do I not feel like myself, but the self I was with my friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to me, that really hit home because I have friendships. You know, you have your friends from early childhood. You've all moved on in your lives, and but then you know you have other friends that are younger than you. I mean, a lot of my staff are friends as well, and they're younger, and not a lot going through the same motions as I am right now. Since I've met, you know, Mary and other people in our circle, it's different.
It is.
Yes.
The friendship is different.
It is.
It's more of, oh, you get it.
Yes.
Oh, you understand.
Yes.
It's not complaining.
No.
Like you can feel like you're complaining.
Oh, I hate it when people say that. Some people don't get it even at our age, but some people who do, and I agree, Shannon.
Yeah,
it's,
like, I
it's
guess-
really different.
What made you say that, I guess?
Yeah.
Because that really resonated with me.
I love that.
Yeah, because not only do relationships evolve, and I mean, it almost kind of starting to tear me up here to think about those relationships that are lost because people can't relate to what you're going to,
Yes.
right? It's a personal journey, and some people. I think what is important is that we don't put our head in the sand and not be open to options and other people's approaches and that type of thing. Because, I mean, ultimately, if we're judging someone else
That's
and what
right.
they're going through in their journey, I mean, there's wisdom in that for them, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes we have to have those uphill battles, or we have to, advocate for ourselves and get a little bit angry and take that into those appointments and those conversations because you need that strength and that support system and those relationships. So the honesty that comes with someone who does know what you're talking about
Exactly.
and can relate to that and can sit and hold space for you it's a beautiful gift.
Yes,
It's a beautiful
absolutely.
gift, yeah.
You're a bestie now. I did have one more question, and I think this is really great for our audience because, again, for us, we all are experiencing menopause very differently. But, you know, what is the biggest myth about menopause that is actually harming women?
Yeah. So I think you've already pulled on those threads as we've spoken, is that HRT is a bad thing for everybody.
Yes.
And I think what I want to dispel is that you have options, right?
Yes.
That the biggest myth is that you have, this is it and this is the path and everyone's going to do the same thing and experience the same thing. That's not the case.
Exactly.
Right? It's not the case. We're all dealing with all these beautiful individual bodies and biochemistry, and there's so many new options. I think we have to lift our gaze and be open to exploring things and be okay with asking questions and finding a place that that is safe, where we can have those genuine conversations and get the information that we need. So I think the biggest myth that we can kind of bust and what we can offer women moving forward is that there's going to be this beautiful women's health center that's coming.
So exciting.
So
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
So exciting.
Oh, my
So a
Lord,
dedicated
yes.
center.
Yes.
Super excited about that.
Me too.
And then also you have people around you, not only here in HRM, but in Nova Scotia, who are, you know, advocates, who are knowledgeable, who would be more than happy to have the conversation discreetly, respectfully, and share with you what we not only know, but that we expect that you can access in terms of services and,
I agree.
and
Do
support.
you have any of those available for our listeners? Like, do you have any that you would say openly that they can research, like go to for help to have those conversations?
Yeah. So there is the Nova Scotia Menopause Society. So if you're looking at kind of like really well credentialed Of course, on social media, there's various, sort of
Facebook groups.
Yeah, Facebook groups, and
I'm part of the rage one.
Yeah, you're part of the rage one. I'm seeing there. She has some shave. She's quietly simmering in the background, going.
No, I probably have a fake profile on that one.
No picture.
Just orange.
Oh, that was you. Yeah. Now I get it. Okay, gotcha.
So that's who I blocked.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
Your healthcare provider is, I think it's a nice way to kind of redefine that relationship and understand that they're a partner. They're a source of information, but to listen if they're telling you something that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
To walk it around, take it around the block to, another practitioner, or chat with, your girlfriends that you trust, to have those honest conversations with who are also going through it, and then to know that HRT is an appropriate therapy, and it's great for a lot of things, including bone density, mental health. Like mental health is a big one that I want to kind of advocate for.
Right. Yes.
And so you don't have to necessarily feel the way you're feeling right now, and that's not a bad thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I mean, the appointment is so emotional that you're going to forget 90% of it, and we know that as practitioners. Well, it's an actual
And you're in
stat.
menopause.
And you're in menopause, so you're gonna forget
I have to
it.
have a freaking note thing done in my phone to remember all the things I was supposed to say to her. And then I still leave without half my answers.
It's right.
You write them down.
And they got the timer going, 15 minutes.
Yep.
Yes, that's right.
You're
Oh, that's
right.
one
Yeah,
too
yeah,
many
that's one too
questions
many.
for your 15 minutes. Let's make another appointment.
Yeah,
Oh,
we need to make
great.
another.
So we want to thank you so much for being a part
Thank
of
you.
our
It was so
podcast
fun
today.
Yeah.
And I just
thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
my
so
friend.
much, my friend. Thank you.
You're going to end us with some cool breathing
we
techniques.
are going to do
I'm ready for this.
Without a joke.
Yes.
We can do it. We can do it.
So a lot of what we can do around improving our mental health and being more present and dealing with rage and all those things that are going on is just to breathe, right? 80% of us don't know how to breathe.
Nope.
Don't know how to breathe. That's
I'm one
crazy
of them.
to think.
I'm one of them.
So I want you to think about when a baby was born. And we see their beautiful belly rising and falling. Their whole body was involved in the breath. So we're gonna maybe uncross our legs.
Oh, Lord. I gotta start up.
Knees together. And just gonna settle into your sit bones. You're just gonna let your elbows grow heavy. And then we're just gonna softly, without judging, tuck our chin a little bit and slide our ears back over our shoulders. I know the camera tells us, okay, jut your chin out. We're gonna tuck it back in. Yeah. And you can close your eyes if you like, or leave them open, whatever you prefer.
Mine have been shut. I don't know if I'm doing it right.
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
There's no right or wrong, right? And then we're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose. And sigh it away. One more time. And sigh it away. And softly close your lips. And feel the strength of the ground beneath you. Feel the strength of all the women that have come before us. Let your tongue pool in the cradle of your jaw. Maybe a little smile crosses your face. Deep breath in through the nose. And sigh it away. Beautiful work. It's that easy.
That was awesome.
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you so much.
So we've lowered our blood pressure.
We have.
We've slowed our heart rate down a little bit, which is a nice thing for everybody.
I love it.
And you've probably connected with your body a little bit more, because we tend to be disconnected from our body a lot during the day. Namaste, bitches.
Okay, go ahead, bitch.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Mary.
And this is
Fran.
and we're hotter by the minute.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Mary.
we're hotter by the minute.
Oh, hell yeah, we are.